And it looks like we are live. Getting there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. We've been live for 8 seconds, 9 seconds already. Holy smokes. It's always good to be live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Shaun Symons, PPG Grandpa. Looks like we already got a bunch of people in the chat, so welcome, everybody. We got John Wayne and Jim from Care PPG. Let's see who else we got. We got Will Fly in the house. What's up? We got Scott Starbeck. I was going to say Starbucks. I was going to say Starbucks. It looked like Starbucks. All right. And I really need some glasses apparently. But anyways, welcome everybody. Glad that you are here. Glad that you're in the chat. Glad that you are watching us here on clearproptv.com. We have an awesome show today. And as always, we're going to introduce the panel real quick before we introduce our guest, which is Shaun and Rachel Hayden. We got Will Fly from Will Fly PPG. What's up, my friend, my buddy, old pal?
Hey, what's going on? Good to be here.
I am so glad you're here, my friend. Since I'm not going to be wearing my glasses to see what's going on here, if you could do me a favor and keep an eye on that chat for me today.
Bet.
All right. So if you guys have any questions for Shaun and Rachel tonight, just make sure you tag Will Fly. He'll take care of that. Anything good on your YouTube channel lately? I haven't.
Yeah, man, just recently dropped my Bad Apples video. It's an awesome, best flying I've ever been to.
All right,
So
rub it in a little
check
bit.
Check it out, youtube.com/Will Fly.
Or willflyppg.com.
That'll work too, yeah.
I know, right? Well,
thanks
thank you, Will, for
Grandpa.
Well, thank you for everything that you do for the show. Appreciate you,
yeah,
buddy.
Man.
All right. And we also got our very own Linda Anderson from ParamotorUSA.com with the little pom-poms. What's up? What's up?
That's right.
Always good to see you, Miss Linda.
You know me on Monday nights. I'm always ready. Thank you, chatters, for hanging with us tonight. All my viewers, love you bunches. Love you bunches. I just want to say, I have to say a shout out to Eric Lear, and Jade Lear. Every time I think about it, I still get emotional. It was the greatest day ever, doing my first tandem flight, and Eric was the best pilot. Both Eric and Jade were so patient with me, and I tell you what, Para family rocks. That's all I'm going to say. Para family rocks. And I'm ready to get back up in the air again. So
and that's what we think all the time. So now you totally understand what we go through mentally. We're like, we haven't flown in a couple days. We're pulling some hair out.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. I love you guys.
She finally gets it.
Yeah, she finally does after all these years. Well, thank you very much, Linda Anderson. Okay. And of course, guys, if you want to be on the show, just get up with Linda Anderson. If you go to ParamotorUSA.com, that forwards over to her Facebook page. Just PM her and say, hey, I want to be on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, Clearprop TV, and Paratalk.org, and she'll hook you up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate you. We also got Jim from Canada, the only guy I know that sniffs his money and goes, maple syrup. What's up, buddy?
That's if it's not in the back pocket. Yeah. Things are going good. Got 132 flights in.
What? That's awesome, man. You're rolling, aren't you?
I am. I'm loving it. And I should set a goal to have a few more on July 4th is my 1-year anniversary of being a pilot.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And also, too, if you guys don't know, Jim is one that gets all of our stickers, our Clearprop TV stickers, our paramotorcalendar.com, and he takes care of all of us up there in Canada. And you can always get your own stuff if you want to. Anything that you want printed or whatever, just get up with Jim over at carepp.com. And if you want to see his crazy shenanigans flying, go to careppg.com. I love your .coms, dude. It's just absolutely amazing.
Thanks to you. You helped me out. That's
go
awesome.
Go on. No, really, go on.
Yeah, go on.
Well, thank you very much, Jim, for helping us out. We definitely appreciate you. But it's not about you. It's not about me. Tonight is all about Shaun and Rachel Hayden. They've been flying. Well, Shaun's been flying paramotors for like 10 years. He's a tandem. He's got his tandem exemption. He goes out and flies foot launch. He's been all over the United States. Welcome, Shaun and Rachel. We just think that you're awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got into paramotoring.
I've always wanted to fly. Growing up as a kid, I remember in my bedroom, I used to have F-14s and 16s, different aircraft, stuff like that posted on my wall, and never could afford to fly. I figured the cheapest. What up, Jerry?
What up? I made
I don't
it.
want to see you. I don't want to see your face right now. What up, girl?
What's up?
So I figured, if I ever got into the sport of flying, I didn't know anything about paramotors at the time, but I did know about power parachutes. And
Did I tell you that you got?
the weird thing is about this, I was passing one day at a pawn shop and I seen a power parachute sitting outside. And me and Rachel, we pulled into the pawn shop, and man, I was like a kid in the candy store, I went and sat on it and looked it over, and I'm not a spontaneous kind of buyer, I went home and dwelt on it, did a little YouTube search, Google search. In the process of that, YouTube, I seen somebody up there doing some barrel rolls and some spirals, and it was not a power parachute, it was a paramotor. And so that really got my interest up. And so I started Googling, looking for instructors, trying to figure out how to get involved in this thing that I just seen, doing barrel rolls and spirals, foot launch, butt fan kind of thing. And I found Andy McAvan. He was there in League City. League City is near Galveston, Texas. And he had a phone number, and I gave him a call and spoke with him, went over a few things. It was in my ballpark, I think I started off $5,000 for a paramotor, a wing, and training. And off it went, it wasn't the best start, but my very first flight, I had an engine help.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after I went through all my training and things like that, I figured, it was time to take it home. And I learned how to fly on a beach. And let me tell you something, I found out real quick, it's the difference between beach flying and going inland. Look, all I knew was the beach. That was it. Good limited wind, felt a gust here and there, I didn't know what a thermal was. I didn't know what a thermal felt like. I guess we didn't get that deep into our training. And so my very first flight home, Oakdale, where I live, is a very small town, 7,000 people. And I think 1,500 of them is in the federal detention center. So we talk about 5,000 people, and Oakdale got its name with oak trees. We are covered with oak trees. So is it the best place to fly paramotors? No. But we do have an airport. And I've seen winds at the beach. You can fly 10, 12 mile an hour winds, at the beach. And that felt nice. I wasn't scared of a 10 mile an hour wind, a 12 mile an hour wind. And I seen that in the forecast for Oakdale, Louisiana. So I went down in the summertime to our local airport. Now, it's a lot of asphalt. It's a lot of metal buildings, and it's surrounded by woods. And our district attorney he just landed, in a Beechcraft or something like that. And I remember him making a statement, and I should have listened a little closer, but from him landing a Beechcraft or whatever, and he's like, man, it was a little rough up there. I should have took that advice, but I also was taught if you can't kite the wing, don't fly it, because it's probably going to be rowdy,
Agreed.
Well, so I'm at home, I'm by myself, very first flight, inland, and I realize it's a little windy, a little gusty, but I was sort of used to that being on the beach, and I thought it was a go, but I did try to kite the wing and I couldn't. And finally I just said, heck with it. You know how you get that determination that I'm going to do it, and I did. I done it. Look here, I did a fart, and because I couldn't kite the wing, I couldn't reverse kite. It was windy enough, but it was just dancing all over the place. So I just figured I was going to do a fart and hammer the throttle and just climb up. Son, when I went to climbing, I failed to realize when the wind is blowing, you got to think of wind and water, sort of alike. So wind, when it comes over the treetops, it's going to fall. And then when it's going to start tumbling and do all that, you put a leaf in the back of your pickup truck and go right around, you'll see that leaf just all over the place in the back of your truck, Well, that's what that wind was doing, all over the place, because we was covered with trees and we're in the bed of the truck, and I'm trying to fly out of that crap. Look here, I was trying to climb up, and that wind was coming down.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I was going to clear the treetops,
Oh, no.
And finally, when I did, that wind was blowing. It scared me to death. I remember saying this prayer. I told God, I said, if you put my feet back on the ground, I quit flying. it had me scared to death,
What a lie that was.
I think we all lie in those type of prayers.
Oh, yeah.
I swear I'll never drink again, God. I swear I'll never fly again.
But here's the thing. That wasn't the scary part of the flight.
Oh, yeah? What was?
So here it is. I was still flying into the headwind, which I wasn't hardly penetrating. I would climb up, and the higher I climbed, with it being rowdy, the scarier I got. And I wouldn't say panic, but I knew I had to go downwind to turn back into the wind to land, So I turned downwind. When I did, son, I was trucking, and when I went downwind, it was throwing me right over those metal buildings and all that asphalt. And when I turned back into that headwind, I got hit with thermals, wind.
Yep.
Look here, it hit me so hard. Rachel seen this on the ground. I was on the phone with Rachel, and I remember her making some kind of noise over the phone. And look here, I got sucked up. I got sucked backwards. My feet came flying out in front of me. I'm telling you, I was done. I wanted on the ground. And so I got on the ground live and well, and immediately I called Andy up, my instructor, and I asked Andy, I said, what just happened? I said, I'm not familiar with this. He's like, what time of day was it? And I remember him saying, the last 3 hours of the day, you go fly. Now this is summertime, just dark at 8 o'clock, I'm sure it's probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm at the airport, and that's the hottest part of the day. And that was probably part of my problem right there, But anyway, so I had a very bad start. So that was from going from an engine out from my very first solo flight to coming inland to getting thrown around, scared to death like this right here. That was a bummer, and I started getting comfortable with flying. I lied to God because I told him I'd never fly again, and I attempted it again. and
blame it on the devil.
And, so how long did it take for you to go back up?
Well, I'm a type of person. my dad raised me hardcore. He really did. I had a brother. He was bigger than me. I was older, you know, and Dad raised us to defend ourselves, not to be vicious, not to go out starting fights, but to defend ourselves, you know. And there's times me and my brother will fight and stuff like that, and I wouldn't bow down. Dad would type of person to go buy boxing gloves, and we had a big old VHS or whatever video recorder he had sitting on his shoulders, and he's sitting there videoing me and my brother boxing, you know, and he's the edges it on. So he raised me a little stuff like that. He raised me riding dirt bikes, motocross, you know. I was the type of person that if I crashed, and it happened quite often, I was never one to lay on the sidelines, you know, and wimp out, cry, you know. I have bruised my femurs, I have broke my ribs, and things such as that has happened, and turn around and get back on the bike. Because I know the longer you stay down, the harder it's actually going to be to get back on that bike, you know? And it's the same thing with flying. After that happened, I knew I didn't want a lot of time to go by, or I would have probably shied away, you know, would have scared myself back into flying. So I got back into flying, I mean, probably immediately, you know? Anyway, I got flying and got comfortable with it, and I decided, hey, it's time to plan a trip. You know, summer was coming up, and I wanted to make a trip to Florida, and I had an E124. That's what I started flying. And so we went on a 2-week vacation to Florida. You know, we rented a U-Haul. You know, I put my paramotor in it. You know, my wing. You know, I was really, really looking forward to this Florida trip, flying the beaches and stuff like that. And we stayed at Indian Rocks. And we met London Ivy, Ernest, Alberto, some really good people in that neighborhood. And I think it was Alberto. He came to fly with me there at the beach at Indian Rocks. Look, my very first flight on my 2-week vacation, my motor blew up.
Oh my gosh. The luck you have.
Yeah. And now I'm without a paramotor, you know. I was still sort of new at this, you know.
When you say blow up, what happened?
So I would like to sort of get into the details of the paramotor, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to reflect back to originally what happened, you know. Anyway, I think the high screw it got too lean on me, and running lean would cause it to get hot and cause it to seize, you know, and that's what happened. It just I had to replace the cylinder head, the piston, the rings, you know, the whole top end I had to replace. So, but we're still on vacation, and I went to fly. And so meeting London and Alberto and Ernest and all that group of guys, they had a boat, and they was going out to Shell Island, which is over there by Tampa, Florida. And so they invited, yeah, I will, Kyle. So they invited us to go fly with them to Shell Island. So we got on the boat and went out to Shell Island, and we spent the day with those guys out there. Look here, I had an HE120. That thing didn't have a lot of power. I was flying a Hayden 3 26-meter wing. And Alberto, he suggested that I fly his dual start Moster 185. And he set my wing up. Remember, we're on a little island right here. To me, it was really little, and it was little, but for me being a beginner, it was really little. And he set the wing up for me, and I even asked him, I said, Alberto, I said, you think we're far enough away from that water? He said, yeah, you got this. I said, okay. Look here, I strapped on, and I took off. I was like a duck on water. And I lost my airspeed. I went swimming.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Turned into an airboat.
Oh,
Yeah, and it wasn't so just out of my conscience, I knew that wasn't my paramotor, so I was trying to save the paramotor, you know. So immediately I fell for it to keep the water from getting into his motor, you know, and I did. The water didn't get in his motor, but everything was electronic, you know, on his dual start, you know, for starting it, you got the electronic devices and the throttle. Well, the throttle went in the water, it got wet. Anyway, we got it out of the water and I had to recoup. And at the end of the day, Alberto was getting ready to fly from the beach and fly back to shore, and he strapped onto it. And when he went to push that button, it lit him up. And so he ended up putting his paramotor on the boat, you know, and rode back with me and London and Ernest. And so that was my beginning of flying, you know.
wow. That
Very
sounds
scary,
so
terrible.
fun and interesting and scary all at the same time.
A lot of people probably would have quit day one, much less the second time or the third time.
Wow, that's crazy. Will Fly, is there any questions in the chat?
Yeah, you got a couple. A quick one. A guy named Bill H wants to know if you know a guy named Bill H.
Yeah, Bill Herman.
So there's your answer, Bill H.
Country. Or should I say hillbilly?
And Travis DuPont said that he heard that you climbed a tree at Bad Apples to help the pilot through his reserve. Is that true?
Yes. We me and actually Jerry went out there to recover. I don't even know the guy's name. But anyway, yeah. I climb ladders for a living. I do roofing for a living. You know, I was raised climbing ladders and stuff. So yeah, I went out there and extended that ladder up on the tree. And,
sir. Right away, sir.
What was that?
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah. So I climbed the ladder, and first thing I done was got the wing down, and then we worked on rigging and getting the paramotor down. So we got it down. I don't think we broke anything.
Well, you got the paramotor down, right? But a guy that just today, as a matter of fact, a guy and I, Tim Entz, actually climbed that tree and got the reserve all the way out of the branches at the top.
Oh,
And,
yes.
just today I sent
Wow.
Keegan his reserve back.
Yeah, that's his name, Keegan. That's right.
Yeah, Keegan Mold, he makes those strobes, the far out strobes.
Yeah, that's right. So it's on its way, Keegan. Just sent it today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I seen Kyle O'Gley a while ago. He posted on there asking for me to tell the story about the gust front. You know, so I actually got a couple of stories of gust front. I'm thinking maybe he's referring to the one here at home. Happened at a cemetery, matter of fact, about where I got laid to rest. So this particular day here, well, first of all, so I was born and raised in church and stuff like that, you know, and one of the things that we do is on Monday nights is have men's prayer meeting. It seems like all the good flying days is always on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, you know, and we got prayer meeting on Monday night, you know, and Tuesday, wind sucks. It's can't fly. Thursday and Friday. It's always something getting in the way of my flying. So we had a men's prayer meeting on a Monday evening, and the forecast looked really good, you know. So I opted out. I didn't go to prayer meeting.
And you told God a long time ago that you weren't going to fly anymore if he.
All right.
I kind of see where this is going now.
Yeah. So here it is. I flew for an hour and a half that day. You know, I'm talking about some of the smoothest air. I remember having my phone out, you know, the brake toggles on the magnets, you know, just hands free. I flew for an hour and a half, really good air, you know. And now that I look back at this, I remember in the distance seeing some lightning You know, it's a little,
Oops.
a little dark over that way, but it wasn't where I was at. You know, it's smooth where I was at. You know, so I didn't pay it no mind. You know, and so it was getting late, and I went back toward the LZ, which was a graveyard that I flew out of. It wasn't on top of it. They had a field that had no graves in it for potential graves. But anyway, I was given permission to fly out of that. So was going back into land. Well, there's a railroad track right there, right near the graveyard. And I was foot dragging the railroad track, putting my foot on top of the rail, you know, had traffic passing, people stop and take pictures, and, you know, and I get caught up in that and not really paying attention to the weather, what was really going on, you know. And so the railroad tracks are down below the trees, and I can't see what's happening up above the trees. And I decided, hey, it's time to go land. And to land, I had to get up and over and hit that graveyard. And when I got above the trees, I seen something coming at me that I didn't want any part of, you know. And I seen the treetops coming at me. I seen the treetops just whipping, you know, in the wind. And I was trying to get down. And so I'm treetop height, and I'm trying to go in for my approach to land. And all of a sudden, that gust front that was approaching me got me. You know, look here. So we hang underneath that wing by strings. So whatever that wing does, you're attached to that wing, you know. And I remember that wing, the left side, it must have really hit it hard, and it like picked it up and just, I wouldn't say folded it, but it slung it around, and I'm attached to that. And it just, I'm telling you, it threw, you know, people have fish stories like, boy, I caught this big fish, you know, and come to find out, I'm not telling one of those stories. I'm telling you what happened. You know, that gust front hit me so hard, it slung me up and around, almost like a big wing over, you know. I'm familiar with wing overs. I know how to handle them. And I just wasn't in control of this wing over. But anyway, it threw me up and over the wing. And with me getting slung over the wing like that, I was racing to get underneath the wing. So immediately, I remember hammering the throttle and trying to race to get underneath the wing. And at the same time, I was pulling some brake, you know, to slow the wing down to help keep it pressurized, you know. And anyway, I did. I caught it. I swung underneath the wing. I done lost a little bit of altitude at this time. And there's a 6 foot tall hurricane fence that separates that graveyard from a little pasture, you know. And I just missed that 6 foot tall hurricane fence, you know. Well, as I missed it and I was swinging back up, remember, it's still nasty air. That wind is blowing. It grabbed a hold of me again, and it swung me around. This time when it swung me around, I was a little bit lower than the first time. That fence that I just missed, this time it grabbed me and slung me around, and I was coming diving right toward that fence. And only thing I knew to do was pull right. I didn't want to hit the fence head on. So I pulled right real hard, and I slung myself. And I got just enough of a spin to hit that fence sort of sideways, but I stuck that fence. I hit it hard. It broke my cage. It broke my prop. The netting on my cage tore. My wing landed on the fence, you know, and the wind was blowing really hard, and it just took my wing and started ripping it. And immediately I started thinking, I missed prayer meeting.
And you told him that you weren't going to fly again.
Yeah.
I think he spanked you a bit.
Yeah, he didn't kill me. He just
It's like, you're going to get punished for that one, buddy.
yeah, and it cost me, you know. It cost me some money, you know. So that was one time I got hit. And I remember at Fort Smith, Arkansas, I don't know exactly. I still don't know. Maybe Kyle might know what I'm talking about here. I don't know. I remember before we went flying, Britton Shaw, he was the one over at Endless Foot Drag, and he was putting this event on, and we was all paying attention to the weather, and we recall seeing something in the distance, and we didn't see it coming our direction, so we figured it'd be safe to fly. But is that the Mississippi River goes through Fort Smith, Arkansas? I don't know. But anyway, we got up, went flying, and it was a good area. It was nice and smooth. And I remember crossing the river, and we played around. Me and Michael Holiday, we were playing around on the other side. Anyway, when it's time to come back to land, I got some altitude, and I crossed the river. And as soon as I crossed the river, some funny stuff started happening. I really don't know exactly what happened. I got sucked up, and something grabbed a hold of me and my wing. And I remember that wing dancing all over the place. It'd go to the left, it's jerking to the right, it's going backwards, it was going forward. And the whole time I'm just sitting there just trying to counteract what was going on. And the whole time this was going on, I was getting sucked up. And I don't know, I would say I probably got sucked up a good 1,500 feet or so. I don't know. It sucked me up.
I wonder if you hit a like a dirt devil type of thing, a dust devil, and it was way up there.
That crossed my mind. I was trying to do everything I could to get out of it. I was trying to spiral. That's the only thing I could come with. I was trying to spiral to get out of it. You know, when I got close to the ground and I thought I was clear, you believe that thing grabbed a hold of me again, and it done the same thing. It sucked me up again. And so,
did you have any app, like some sort of metrics that showed you your lift, like a Skyfly High or something? No. Oh, that would have been really interesting to see.
Yeah, it done it to me again. And I remember this time when I got out of it and went down, I got as close as I could to the ground, and I flew back to the LZ and just landed. And I remember that flight going back, it was trashy, you know. But I don't know what that was. I don't know, you know. But that was
any video of any of this by chance?
You know, if I did, I'm not very computer. I never have. You go on YouTube or whatever. I ain't got much there because I hate editing, you know. And so if I had something, I probably watched it and then deleted it, you know. So that was that. So yeah, I've had some interesting flights.
To say the least.
Yeah.
So you know, so Rachel hadn't said much here. So I'm gonna enlighten on her just a little bit. You know, a lot of men are jealous of me. You know, we go to fly. You know, we go to fly-ins. You know, Rachel, she's always there by my side. You know, but I'm telling you, when I go to lunch, she's helping me get my wing laid out. You know, she's videoing. You know, when I land, she comes running with the stuffed sack. You know, she helps me put my gear up. You know, and all these other men are sitting there watching, like, man, I wish my wife done that. And then,
well, Rachel, show us your shirt real quick. So
I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of men out there done told me they would take her off my hands if she ever gets, if I ever get tired of her, you know.
That's not gonna happen, is it?
You two are like so cute, honestly.
But no, I do a lot of tandem flights, you know, and she's there on every one of them. You know, she's helping me with my passengers, putting the helmet on them, putting the harness on them, snapping them in. She helps me lay the wing out. You know, she lets me know if I'm good on fuel or not. That reminds me right there of another story.
You could Shaun, you could write a book.
I was just thinking he probably needs to write a book. This is awesome.
So I've been doing tandems about 7 years or so, you know, and a lot of people know me for doing my tandems as endless foot drag, the endless foot drag there in Fredonia, Kansas. They have a lot of Mennonites there. So they got the kitchen table there. There's a lot of there's Mennonite. It's a family, I guess, that owns the restaurant, and I've taken every one of them probably up, the whole family, probably the workers too, But anyway, the owner of the store, the dad, he brought his daughter and one of her friends out, and I flew his sons and the other parts of the family too. But this particular day, I go take one of his daughters up, and he did tell me, he was joking about it, cut her loose, just anyway, he's trying to, I guess, play around with her, just put a little fear in her. But anyway, before we took off, Rachel looked at me and she's like, "You think you good on fuel?" I said, "I don't know how much I got." And she was like, "Well, you got about that much." And normally at these fly-ins, we take them up about 15, maybe 20 minutes, And not every person I take up is fun to take up, Some people are socializing with you. They laugh, they cut up. Some people don't say nothing. They just staring around, Sometimes it can get a little boring, So, but anyway, she was pretty fun to fly. I cut up with her. Time got away from us. And we had a good flight. Well, on the way back in, I noticed nobody else was flying. The wind picked up, and here it is. I'm out there doing a tandem in that strong wind. And when we going back to the LZ, I told her on the intercom, I said, "Look here, we're going to do a low flyby. That way your family could take some pictures." Nobody else was flying, so I didn't have to worry about other pilots being in the way. And so I was going to get down low so her dad and them could take some good pictures of her, We just got back to the LZ and we was flying right there by her daddy. And we're flying low, maybe 4 feet off the ground. And all of a sudden that motor went chuck, chuck.
Oh no.
And I was going downwind. And we was moving, like I said, it was so windy, everybody else done landed. And so we're going downwind, doing a tandem, 4 feet off the ground, and that motor died on me because I ran out of fuel. And it was Rachel's fault.
Are we talking about a foot tandem now or a trike tandem?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
a foot? Oh. Oh.
Yeah. So I
that changes everything. That changes the way I've been thinking about this whole thing now. Okay, foot long.
Yeah. I mean, if my passenger could have ran that fast, I could have saved it.
Uh-oh.
No, but no, we was trucking. There was no way we were saving that, So, but I did ask her. I told her real briefly. I said, "Get ready to run. Come out of your harness and get ready to run." Because normally I will get some altitude and turn back into the wind to land. I didn't have nothing to get us no altitude. We didn't have a choice but to land it, And we did. We was going really fast at the ground, and I flared, and I tried to put my feet on the ground to try to foot drag to slow us down just a little bit, but we were still trucking. And now you got to remember though, these Mennonites, these girls, they wear long skirts, long dresses, and I'm sure that didn't help matters. Especially
hard to run.
Yeah. But anyway, I remember sliding it out just a little bit, and it just got away from her and she tripped. And when she tripped, naturally we all attached together. I tripped and I just landed right on top of her, in front of her daddy, and
hey, at least they got the good pictures like you wanted.
yeah, probably not the pictures they wanted, but here it is. You got this strange man, just laying right on top of their daughter. And it ain't like I could just jump up, and get off of her, Because we had this tandem hoop. We got this the spreader bar in a harness. If I try to stand up, well, guess what? I got to pull her up because we're attached, and I just lay there smiling at the camera.
Oh my God.
But I remember asking her, I said, "You okay?" And she was laughing about it. She said, yeah, I'm okay. Then she asked me in return, she said, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. And she jumped up, we both stood up. She gave me a high five, and she was like, yeah, and she's like, at least now I can tell everybody I've been in an airplane crash. That's what she said.
Oh my gosh, guys, if you're watching this and you think that story is amazing, come on, give us some thumbs up for that story. That was absolutely
heck yeah.
incredible. Absolutely
Heck yeah.
incredible.
So here's what I told her. I don't like to end anything on a bad note, So it was too windy for the rest of the day to fly. So I said, look here, you come back tomorrow, and we was charging people, to take them on these introductory tandem flights, and I said, look here, you come back tomorrow, we're going to take you back up, and we're going to land this thing the way we're supposed to. Look here, she came back that next morning. It was too windy. She came back that next evening. Every day she came back for a tandem, and the weather just was crappy. That might have been when we got that record-breaking rain over there. Yeah, it just turned ugly, But yeah, that was some good memories. Yeah.
Wow, this is so fun.
Yeah. I mentioned a while ago she's my best tandem passenger. Me and Rachel together, we get off the ground really quick. And a lot of that has to do with the passenger. It don't matter if you're good or not. If your passenger ain't good, they have a tendency, to want to sit down on you. And so I give them a fair warning that they're going to have a tendency to want to sit down, and I learned through doing tandems what to say, what not to say. Originally when I first started doing tandems, I used to have a list. Boy, I would tell them everything to do, then I tell them everything not to do. Look, with their adrenaline going, the excitement, this being their very first time, they don't remember nothing. I'm telling you the truth. Mostly people don't remember nothing. So I learned throughout trial and error, the least I tell them, the better it is, And most of the time I don't tell them too much of anything until it's actually time to launch. I get them dressed. We put the helmet on them. We set up. I got my A's in my hand. I'm ready to fly, and they don't know what to do. And I learned the least you tell them, the better. The only thing that I would tell them in the process of getting prepped while we're putting the harness on them, I will just give them a heads up that they will have an urge to want to sit down early. They're going to feel, and I would pick up on the harness a little bit, and I would tell them that you're going to feel this, and you're going to think it's time to sit down, but I just ask them, do not sit down. I said, just keep running, and I would tell you when to stop running. And so I said, when you get that urge to sit down, don't, just keep running. And so I don't tell them anything more until we get ready to launch. Now we set up, and I will give them a target. I done learned to give them a target. I don't care if it's a tree, if it's a telephone pole, if it's something out in the field, I give them something to keep their eyes on. Because if you do not give them a target to run to, they're going to run like this right here. And when they start doing that, you're going to start doing that, So if you give them a target to run to, it gives them a straight and narrow path, And honestly, I just give them a target, and I will tell them on a count of 3, to run, and their job is to outrun me. That's the biggest thing I tell them, is try to outrun me. Because I know if I'm trying to encourage them to run, if I'm motivating, hollering at them, run, and they trying to sit down, or they ain't giving it all they got, I know it's going to take longer for us to get up. I'm going to have to work harder to get them up. So as long as they have a target to keep their eyes on, and they run just as fast as they can to it, the quicker we're going to get up. And I've been pretty successful, getting my passengers up fairly quick, even with no wind, we still get up pretty quick. So I have some little techniques that I use. Some people laugh at me, for my technique. I don't even want to say what some people call it. I see Jerry smiling.
In all honesty, he's probably one of the best foot launch tandem pilots in the country. I've never seen him fail a tandem flight at all. When we were at Endless Foot Drag, it's up, 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 different person, different person, different person. It's constant.
So,
if I was gonna tandem foot launch with somebody, Shaun's like one of two people in the country I would actually go up with.
So we're going to talk about this just for a little bit. We're going to get off of it because there was a post about this and I didn't even comment on the post. And if he's watching right now, I want to say a name. He's going to know who I'm referring to. You know what? I am going to say a name right here. He's a good friend of mine. And he's taught me a lot. So there's a lot of things that I've learned that came from him. But he will not take ownership of something that I do that he laughs at. So when I do tandems, I learned a long time ago doing tandems that wing is twice as big. So it takes twice as long to get that wing up. It takes twice as long to get that wing loaded, And a habit that I made before from flying smaller wings would be get the wing up, brake check, and then on the small wings, we want to stay in the brakes or whatever because they're small, they get loaded very quickly and get in the brakes, and that helps get us lift. It helps get off the ground quick, right? So I used to do that, and man, I used to run. And what I was doing by pulling brake, I was not allowing the wing to get loaded. I pull brake, and it was wanting to stall the wing out. It was like it didn't know what to do, fly or come down. Because if you pull brakes, so I would have to run hard enough, fast enough, long enough, to get it loaded, to get lift. And the longer you run, the more of a chance you're going to have of your passenger falling on you, So I learned to actually let the wing come up, stay on the A's longer. But when I get the wing up, I will brake check because I want to stop the wing from surging. But once the wing gets over my head, again, we're talking about tandem flying here. Maybe other people have different approaches on this. This is my approach. So I'm not telling anybody what to do or how to do it. But when the wing gets over my head, I'll brake check to keep it from overflying. But I come down. Now I know where the wing's at. I don't have to look up. I don't have to see if the wing is even. I don't have to look to see if one tip is collapsed. I don't have to feel for any of that. Because one of the things I do is not a hard power for it, but I do throw some prop blast in my wing when I go get take off running. It helps get wind into the wing, which helps it get up a lot quicker. And I hammer the throttle, we take off running, but I will go hands up and let the wing get overhead, and I start building some airspeed. Now, the part that where people laugh at me, and I want to say a name, that's Matt Miller. He calls it the chicken flap or something like that. Because what I do, I'm filling the wing. So if you see me doing tandems, you see me doing this right here, and maybe it's a bad muscle memory. I built it, and I couldn't stop it right now if I wanted to. It's just the way I trained myself. But what I'm doing, I'm going hands up because I know I need to let that wing fly. Because if I pull brake too early, I'm going to stall it out, and we're going to have to run even further, So what I'm feeling for is making sure the wing is over my head, and I would know if the wing tip is tucked or if the wing has went left or right, because you will feel the brake pressure. If you feel it on one side and not the other, well, your muscle memory, if you're good enough, will counteract without looking at the wing. But so I learned to let the wing fly, but I'm feeling the pressure in the wing is what I'm feeling for.
Right. So there's a little bit of pressure, but you're not pulling brake or anything. You're just feeling.
Yeah, but if I pull and hold it, I feel that I'm going to stall that wing out and not allow it to get loaded like it needs to get lift. So I'm running like this right here, and I'm feeling for that brake pressure. When I feel the pressure that I want, when I know that I got enough pressure in it to get lift, then I will pull and get the lift. So that's what I'm doing. I know
sounds like a really good. That sounds like a really good thing to do, though. I mean,
Yeah, I get laughed at about it, but hey, it's something I do. It might be ugly, but it works.
But you get up every time, just like Jerry said.
Oh yeah. I get up very quickly, But that's what I'm doing. If you ever see me doing tandem, and you see me flapping like a chicken, that's what I'm feeling for. I'm feeling brake pressure in that wing, and when I feel the pressure, then I would go into it. Here's a good example, and I ain't going to call this guy out. He's a good friend of mine. Is he? So he does a lot of tandems, and he does a lot of them on a trike. Last weekend, now he had everything going against him. He's a grown man, he's not 150 pounds. I don't know what it is. I almost said his name. Anyway, he probably, I don't know what it weighs. Let's say he weighs 200, and the passenger he took up was over 200, but what I'm getting at, between both of them, their weight doing a foot launch, that's a lot of weight, we had no wind this particular day. The wind, the streamer, off the windsock, the little streamer was barely off the pole. It wasn't very much wind. And then it kept shifting because of it was a little early in the afternoon. So that we had thermals still yet active, and the windsock was all over the place. But when he took off running, I videoed it and I went back and played it to him. And he might not think, I don't know if this has anything to do with the fail launch, because that's what happened. They failed the launch. He didn't crash. They didn't hit the ground or anything like that. They just didn't get off the ground. But if you go back and watch the video, when he got the wing up, he immediately went into the brakes, and he went into them deep. He went all, and he took off running. His whole run, they probably ran, I don't know, probably 200 feet, and the whole time his hands are down by his butt. And that's not going to give you lift, because the wing never got loaded, That's the reason why I go hands up. I'm feeling brake pressure, and I honestly myself, I think I probably, with my technique, my chicken flap, I probably would have got off the ground, but technique, it's a bad technique. But a while ago when I mentioned about the weight foot launch, I think my biggest passenger was nearly 260 pounds. He told me 255 is what he weighed. That was probably butt naked. If you ask me, he's probably bigger than, I don't know. But anyway, he was a big man. That was my biggest passenger. And here it is, I'm 190. We're on the most of 185. I was on a 42 meter Orca 4, or I meant the Orca XX, or it could have been a 4. Anyway, it just made me think about it a while ago when we talked about weight. So that's about my biggest passenger. That's a big man to foot launch, is what I'm getting at. 255, 260 pound man.
Yeah, two of them.
Yeah, if you ever see that picture, I posted it before. You notice he's in a pair of socks. He actually goes to my church, and he's been after me, wanting me to take him up, and I didn't want to tell him no, and because I would have to give him a reason why. And my reason, I'm thinking, was you're too big, and so, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I hope he ain't watching, but even if he is, he done great. We done great. I did take him on a tandem flight, and we had a very successful launch and amazing landing. I learned actually through him versus taking up somebody lightweight. I think when you're heavy loaded, you actually have more brake pressure. You come in a little bit softer than you do when you're lightly loaded on a wing. So we was really loaded. We came in and we flared. But anyway, back to the socks. He was in a pair of socks. He asked if he could come out to the field because I made a post about going flying, and he sent me a message and asked if I would mind him coming out to fly his drone. And I said, yeah, come out to the field, and when he got to the field, we had a little breeze going, and I started thinking about the time that he asked about wanting to go on a tandem flight. And so I talked myself into it. So I asked him, I said, hey, you remember you asking me about doing a tandem flight? I said, you still interested? He was like, yeah, so I told him, I said, look here, we got the perfect wind for it. We're in a good location. Everything is going our way. And he was in flip-flops. And I told him the only thing he's got to do is take the flip-flops off. And I've done that before. And people will flip and flop wearing flip-flop. So I told him, I asked him if he had tennis shoes, and he said no. I just took a shower. My socks I had on my feet were clean. And he tried to go barefoot, but it's a hayfield, and it was poking his feet, it was hurting his feet and stuff, So I offered him my socks. So if you ever see the picture of me and this guy and he's in a pair of socks, that was my socks.
That's funny. You got a pair of socks and a paramotor. I love it.
Yep. So anyway, that's that. Hey, I don't know if y'all have any questions y'all want to ask, or do y'all want to dig into endless foot drag a little bit, or
Yeah, Will, is there any questions in the chat that we need to chat about?
No, I mean, we've got a couple of statements, but I got to tell you, I could listen to you talk all night long, man. Your stories are just, and James in the chat, he hit the nail on the head. He wants to know if you're going to Moonshiners, because he feels like you've got some great campfire stories to tell, especially after a couple of beers, he says.
Yeah.
So are you going to Moonshiners?
I've never been a moonshiner. I've been invited. I just never went. I would love to attend it. There's several I would love to attend. I guess it really depends on. I don't know. The last couple of years, with my kids being in high school, it's been a little tough on us. Endless foot drag, for example. We had to make a decision. That's one of our all-time favorite fly-ins is the endless foot drag, and we had a decision we had to make. My grandson was being born that week, and we either had to stay home for the birth of my grandson and miss out on a fly-in that I love to go to, or and spend time with Michael. We always left a week early and spend time with Michael Holiday up there, stayed at his house, and just love hanging out with him. But anyway, we had a decision to make, and we made a decision. And I told my daughter, I said, we'll see the baby when we get back home.
Now that's some love of paramotoring.
Yeah. Well, I know.
What did she say? How did she react?
I helped Michael with that event, at Endless Foot Drag. So a lot of people really don't know how Endless Foot Drag got started there in Kansas. I don't want to foul it up a little bit, but we all know that it started there in Arkansas with Britton Shaw. He's the one that had it, and I guess if you don't know, what happened there was it took someone getting killed, at a fly-in, and the landowners, I think it's the father and son, they already had mixed emotions about it. One loved it and the other one didn't. But after this guy crashing and getting killed, that ended Endless Foot Drag in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And this I talk a little bit about this right here. What happened? No disrespect to him or his family, but this particular guy got trained. I'm not going to say where. We're just going to talk about what took place. But anyway, he got trained. Then he came back home. I think he was from Texas area, and he went about 6 months or so of not flying. And then he ended up buying a new wing, which is a Universal 1.1. I think some of this right here was through the help of actually Brian West, loaned him out. a rodeo, some gear. So this cat right here flew into Fort Smith, Arkansas. Then he came to our event, and he had some training, but he went about 6 months of not flying. And then here it is. He's got a new paramotor that he's not familiar with, that he rented out or loaned out. And then he's got a brand new wing that he's not familiar with, was a Universal 1.1. And I remember watching this guy. He was struggling on the ground, kiting his wing. He was struggling to get off the ground. You could tell he was still a newbie and had a lot of learning to do. But once he got off the ground, he would get up and he was playing around. And man, he was ballsy. Man, he was brave. He was doing things he shouldn't have been doing. And one of the things he was playing around with was spirals, and anybody that knows that particular wing, I guess, don't quote me, but if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But if you're playing around with spirals, and you do pass out, that wing, from understanding, will lock in to a spiral. It won't come out, and that's pretty much what happened. He was told over and over, quit playing with spirals, quit playing with spirals, quit doing this, quit doing it. And he kept doing it. And the guy was playing around with spirals and obviously passed out. And that was the end of that. I was up flying. Matter of fact, I think it's me and Britton Shaw and Kyle Glee and Michael Holiday. And I don't know, it was a good handful of us. We were doing a cross country flat. And I remember getting Rachel calling me, and she told me that someone just got killed, and she told me it had something to do with Brian West. That I knew what she was referring to, Brian West, with the guy, that got the equipment from Brian West. So I understood what was going on. But the other guys we was doing the cross country flight with, I wanted to call them and give them a heads up. Hey, we need to turn around. We need to get back, So I call Kyle O'Glee, and so we in the air flying, the wind, probably bad reception, cutting in and out. And the only thing Kyle O'Glee got out of this was Brian West and killed, so he spent the rest of the flight back to the LZ thinking Brian West got killed. And it wasn't Brian, and I think maybe he called Britton Shaw and told him, and we all rushed back. But anyway, what I'm getting at, so we lost our privilege of flying in this foot drag there in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And Britton Shaw passed that on to Michael Holiday. Prior to Michael Holiday taking over endless foot drag, me and Michael was trying to plan some type of event. We talked about doing a cross country flight from one side of Kansas to the other. And we made posts, on the Paramotor forum, about trying to create some kind of event. And from understanding, I guess, Britton Shaw seen that or got wind of that, regardless, however it took place, Britton got a hold of Michael Holiday and asked Michael if he wanted to host endless foot drag. And so that's how Michael Holiday ended up taking over endless foot drag there in Fredonia, Kansas, and I tell you that town of Fredonia, Shannon, the one she's Shannon Thomas, she's over, she works with the city with the Chamber of Commerce, that city over there, of all places I've been to, they really look forward to this event, endless foot drag. They put posts out, they let their community know about it. I've been to all sorts of different fly-ins and never really seen a community really come out and participate. There at Fredonia, Kansas, we put bleachers out, and these people, you got to understand, these are a bunch of country folks. I'm talking about country. They coming out in their flannel shirts and boots and, like they came straight out of a cornfield, and, so when they see,
Probably half of them did.
yeah. And so these people, they're not used to seeing paramotors, seeing anything fly such as that, Matter of fact, that airport that Michael ran the school and stuff that he had, or the event, was pretty dead over there, you know, so the city ain't used to seeing much of this. And when we started this event, Michael had to twist arms and you go to the city and explain to them what paramotors are. Anyway, so he got the city on his side. And after we had the very first event, the city liked it. They loved it, you know, and the next year, the city was putting flyers out. The city was putting posts on Facebook out. The city was showing up. You know, they were showing up for panel flights. They would line up on the bleachers. You know, they'd be sitting out in their vehicles. They had a dirt road. You'll see a line of vehicles down a dirt road just because they couldn't get into the LZ area. You know, and watch. You know, the city really took a liking to this event, and then, you know, ultimately we know what happened to Michael. You know, Michael, he loved endless foot drag with a passion. You know, that was his thing. You know, he was retired. You know, he didn't work anymore. He held a school, you know, there in Fredonia. He did some work with Power to Fly, you know, Comatula. You know, he done some sales and worked with Gravity Paramotors with Shaun and Bill and Garrett and them. He had a lot going for him, and Michael loved to fly, you know, and he ended up started flying these little Delta wings, you know, and he wasn't getting away from paramotors. He just loved flying. He was just looking into something else, you know, that would fulfill his excitement. And he hadn't too long got his license from flying these Delta trikes, you know. And I remember when he got sick, I remember his very last flight, he was sick when he went flying. And he didn't know it, but that was his last flight. But he really looked forward to putting this event on. And just a couple of weeks before our last event last year, he passed away on us. And so last year was a very emotional, you know, fly-in. Thanks to Damon Turner, Cameron Klein, Rick Spittler, Shannon with the city, you know, Martin Henderson, air boss, you know, everybody stepped up to the plate, you know. It wasn't our first rodeo. We was there helping Michael before, but after Michael passed, after talking to Michael's family, they wanted the event to continue, you know, and so we've done that event, you know, in memory of Michael, and we had some of Michael's family show up to the event. We had a memorial for him. Even Brent Shaw, you know, he came, he flew over, he participated. We did a flight all the way around Fredonia. And I own Michael Holliday's last foot launch paramotor. When he had cancer and he lost the ability to walk, the community stepped up, you know, Power to Fly and Rossi, Mateo and all those guys, and they built him probably the lightest, most of 185 in the United States, or probably ever. You know, they done everything they could to make this paramotor light for Michael. So because he had lost his ability to walk for a while, you know, and as he progressed through the cancer that he had in his spine and gained his mobility back to walking, you know, he still wasn't capable of running, you know, so they got him a trike. And so I left Louisiana when he got that trike, and me and Rachel did, we went all the way to Kansas, and I went over there. He was nervous, he was scared, and but he was excited, you know. So I went over there. If y'all hadn't seen the video, I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, because this video right here made it all over the news, you know. But I went over there and helped get Michael in the air. And let me tell you, when he landed, he cried like a baby. You know, he's full of excitement, you know. So so here it is. Later on, he graduated from the trike, and he got this lightweight foot launch paramotor, which is the one I got right now. And I still fly it today. But I let Britt Shaw, when we had that memorial, I let Britt fly Michael's foot launch paramotor, to do the memorial flight around Fredonia, Kansas. So that meant a lot to Britain as well. So endless foot drag, a lot of people has questioned, is endless foot drag still happening? We had mixed emotions about endless foot drag. We found out after trying to step up to the plate, between me and Damon and Cameron and everybody trying to make this event happen. After doing that, we learned just how much work it is involved, to making a fly-in happen, So anybody that don't help out at a fly-in, y'all just show up, probably don't understand all the work that it takes to make these events happen. It's really a lot of work. And so there's a lot of work that's honestly sometimes underappreciated, until you get your hands on it, then you'll really realize. So last year we had our hands on, and we found out real quick that it was a lot of work. And for a little while there, just a few months ago, we was beginning to wonder, if we could carry on our day jobs, and still make this event happen. Damon puts a lot of work into this. He has a job other than trying to host this event, and he called me and he told me, look here, I just don't know if I could do this, and so he was trying to pass it on to someone, because he just, between him working and trying to make the event happen, there's just going to be too much on him. We asked Cameron Klein, Rick Spittler, we talk about working men here, and everybody had the same problem. I was asked, hey, do you want to take over endless foot drag? I'm like, look here, I'm 600 something miles away. It'd be hard for me to host that event all the way over there and make everything happen. And I don't know. So we started looking. So anyway, we have Landon March. Landon March is the guy that is taking the head job, I guess you could say, on putting the event on. He is obviously, I don't know what part of Kansas. He's within, I think, an hour of Fredonia, Kansas, So Landon March is going to see to it. He's going to oversee the fly-in. It is still going to happen. The endless foot drag is going to take place September the 19th through the 25th.
Hey, I've got a question for you, Shaun. I've never been to endless foot drag, but I have been to Bad Apples, and you've been to both. How would you compare the two?
Okay. You're gonna make me open up another can of worms right here.
Oh.
Well,
Well, no, I mean, it's something that's on my bucket list, and I do want to go to endless foot drag.
Here's where we at with this right here. I want to try to get into this without getting into another subject. So hopefully I don't detour. Endless foot drag. It's different when you drive up from the registration point, to the people that is there parking you, hosting you to, we actually have a schedule, where we have briefings every day, at certain times, and we call it mandatory meetings, briefings, and because here's what happened. A lot of times we'll learn from the day's event, something might take place one day, and having a briefing, being mandatory, everybody is going to show up to the hangar where we had these briefings. And so if there was something needed to be addressed, something that needed to be discussed, guess what? Everybody's there, if somebody was doing something they shouldn't be, flying somewhere they shouldn't be flying or whatever, it was there, we would talk about the weather, we would talk about the next day, the event, what's happening, what's occurring, endless foot drag, I would definitely say was Jerry. You've been to both, you know, so we was probably more informative there at endless foot drag, a little bit more getting together. You know, we would have classes throughout the day when nobody was flying. You know, we might have Chris Santa Crochet there. You know, he is someone that when he speaks, everyone listens. You know, that don't happen with everyone. We had Kyle Oakley, you know, he would have a class, you know, and they done a little bit of that at Bad Apples too. But so I'm not knocking anything. I'm just trying to compare the two. Both of them is a blast, you know. There was a lot alike, but somewhat a lot different, you know. I don't know. I enjoy going to both of them.
I mean, would you consider the excitement level about the same between the two, or
I would
different type
say,
of crowd, or-
I would say at one given time, I have seen definitely more pilots in the air at Fredonia, Kansas, at Endless Foot Drag. You got to understand, though, first of all, Endless Foot Drag there, Fredonia, Kansas, is nothing but pasture. It ain't trees. It's pasture after pasture. You know, you ain't got rotor except for houses, buildings, or something like that. You know, we have a very big LZ. You know, once you get up, you know, you get out and about, fly high, low, it don't matter. You know, where there in Alabama, they got a really nice LZ. I'm talking about perfect, the way they got it mowed, and but there are a lot.
Lemonade water.
Yeah, Amanda, you make sure you fix that lemonade for Jerry right now. But so they're Bad Apple. There's a lot more trees. You know, there's not. I mean, there's plenty of pastures for landing, having waves out and stuff like that. It's just a different scenery, you know. But I would say at one given time, I've seen a lot more pilots in the air at Endless Foot Drag. But let me tell you something, people just love to hang out. I remember staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning out in that field, and we was out there trying to ride bicycles. That big old one wheel bicycle had a wheel on about 4 foot diameter. Any of y'all ride that? You know,
I wasn't brave enough. Huh?
I got on it, but I couldn't reach the pedals, so I was pushed around.
So yeah, I mean, there's excitement. You know, the people at the events is what brings the excitement. You know, you can participate, you know, in it, you know, and socialize and walk and introduce yourself and just look here. These are some of the best group of people. These fly-ins, I hadn't really found myself, you know, like an outsider. You know, I've been riding motocross all my life, you know, and that's the same way in that sport. You know, very good people. If you could afford a paramotor, you could afford a wing. If you could afford a dirt bike, you're probably not going to have a reason to go around stealing. You know, and people leave their stuff out. You know, I've never really heard of too much stealing, you know, or anything like that taking place. You know, people socialize. I don't know. So they both are very, in their own way, great events. I would suggest anybody to go to both of them.
Yeah, they're my two favorite ones to go to every year, especially since they stopped Palm Bay. To me, the biggest difference of Endless Foot Drag versus Bad Apples, you can fly higher winds at Endless Foot Drag. I was watching Shaun do tandems going up and then just going backwards and then like go up and then fly backwards and then come down. It's like swooping. It's almost like beach flying in a sense in Kansas. Like we were flying what, Shaun, 10-mile-per-hour winds?
Look here, you call it whatever you want, but me and Matt was the only two people up flying. And this right here is about 1 o'clock during the middle of the day. And the wind was blowing pretty good. We was up, you know, up to 600 feet, the wind was trashy. But above 600 feet, it was just as smooth as it could be. Now, I said it's trashy. it was just more bumpy. It was not where it was not flyable. It was definitely flyable. It was out there flying it. But above 600 feet, man, it was like glass. It was just as smooth as it could be. But, you know, I got a Phoenix 5 a watch and also an app and stuff on my phone. We up there doing tandems and flying 10 miles an hour backwards. So we up there doing tandems and we up there doing wingovers and stuff, you know, flying backwards. Look here, airspeed is, we're just a bubble in the sky. That's all we are, you know, and the wind was very smooth. And we out there midday, me and Matt doing tandems, flying backwards 10 miles an hour, you know, and getting a kick out of it, having a blast. So yeah, I think you could fly in higher winds, I guess you would say, there in Kansas, just because of the.
It's more laminar.
Yeah, it's
Behind, can you hear me? Sorry. They have the farmers around there at Endless who are really like nice and get involved in the sport. They had one farmer who came up to us and he was like, I set up an obstacle course for y'all on my farm behind the runway for y'all. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, get them to fly over. They could do the obstacle course. I was like, okay. And then they had another farmer come over and he's like, I'm having this big event at my home and I have a big field. I done cut the grass for everybody to fly over there and land. He said, if they don't have the fuel to go back, he said, I have a big old huge trailer. I can bring them back to the LZ. You know, he's like, it was really nice. And he had a live band and everything at his farm and he wanted everybody to go to it.
so you got to understand, when she said country folks, we talk about country. We talk about
The real deal.
they was not playing George Strait. They was on fiddles and banjos.
All right. I love the fiddles and banjos.
It was him, his wife, and his kids was all playing instruments as well.
So what they had set up there, they had like a 40-foot gooseneck trailer that their family and other people that played instruments would be on that trailer, and they was having dinners on the ground, you know, and playing music. And he made a stop by Endless Foot Drag there at the airport, and he invited every one of us that was willing to stop by, fly in, and participate and eat dinner and listen to the music. You know,
Cool.
that means a lot when you have a community, you know, that steps up, you know, and loves doing what we do, you know.
He made up flyers for me to hand out at the table to everybody who came in. So it was really nice. I mean, the people over there just are very welcoming. It's very nice. I like Fredonia.
Yeah, the community is huge over there and gets very involved. I mean, all those Mennonites, I mean, they got bleachers out there, for God's sake. They come out there and watch everybody fly, or Shaun and people are doing like tandem. So it's really neat. I will say, don't speed there. Definitely don't speed.
Did you ever pay that ticket yet?
The speeding ticket.
So let's get on this right here just a little bit. So at Endless Foot Drag, when Britt and Shaw used to have the event, it used to be called Endless Foot Drag Competition. I don't know if any of you guys recall that, but we would actually have a foot drag competition, you know, and it wasn't just a foot drag competition. We had a bean bag like drop. We had a target, and we would have to go up and see who could drop it on the target. You know, that was a competition course thing that we had. We would have spot landings, you know, where you go up minimum 300 feet and you got to kill the motor, and they would have a target, you know, on the ground, and they would actually measure from the target to where you landed. And so they had competitions, and people won trophies, and yeah, we just had different kind of competitions. And I was talking to Landon March, the one that's running Endless Foot Drag this year. I was talking to him earlier today. I don't want to get ahead of myself on this right here. I hadn't talked to Damon, Cameron, any of those guys, but I suggested, and Landon liked the idea. We just hadn't put it together yet. So since we used to have competition, you know, at Endless Foot Drag, and we've been debating on bringing that back, you know. So that would be something to sort of perk up some ears, you know, try to shine some light toward Endless Foot Drag. We don't want it to be just a foot drag competition. We're going to have other competition as well, hopefully. But we're just trying to get people involved and get people's attention, you know, to these events. A lot of times we host these fly-ins, and whatever happens, happens. Everybody just shows up, you fly, just day in, day out. There's nothing a lot of times ever planned, you know, but we are trying to organize each day, you know, on different things to do, you know, between classes throughout the day or events, you know. So anyway, that's something y'all can keep y'all's ears out, your eyes open, you know, for the near future. You know, hopefully we will start sharing a little bit more information on the Endless Foot Drag, you know, and try to make it fun for everyone, safe for everyone. We're not talking about a competition that's putting people in danger, you know. But,
Who's all coming? Shaun, you coming? Will?
I'm considering it. So that's as far as I can take it.
Me too. Me too. I'm considering
If you
it.
got to pick 2 fly-ins, just saying, if you got to pick like say 3 or 2 fly-ins of the year, Bad Apples, Endless Foot Drags, those are the 2 you don't want to miss. The only ones I would throw out there if they ever started it again would be Beach Blast or Palm Bay if the 4 was ever able to put that on again, but I doubt that ever happened. The compound's gone pretty much. But yeah, those 2, Endless Foot Drag, those are the 2 I 100% commit to every year.
Beach Blast was fun.
I didn't get to attend that, unfortunately. I wish I would have.
Blast.
Yeah. Well, Beach Blast was fun. I tell you this, and we're gonna and I did shy away a little bit when we talk about Bad Apples and Endless Foot Drag, so I did keep from going into left field. Beach Blast, you had to have a rating to attend Beach Blast, and I'm glad they had that. And the reason why I say that, if you was a beginner, you had no business flying beach wind and trying to take off and land in a small LZ like we had at Beach Blast. As we know, a lot of the times the wind is coming off of the water, you know. So that means to land, we land into the wind. That means you're going to have to go downwind, you know, going towards the condos pretty much for your approach, and then turn back into the wind to land on the beach. So was it challenging for some people? Absolutely. You know, was it for a beginner? You know, nope. You know, and for one, you know, one of the rules are we do not supposed to fly, you know, over a populated area, over a congested area. And that beach in the summertime is filled with people, you know, so it ain't like you can just fly above everybody along the beach, you know, and then just make a easy landing. It wasn't that easy. So Beach Blast was really fun, but you had to have some ratings, you know, have enough skill level to land there, you know. I'm going to talk about this right here just a little bit. I am part of the USPPA organization. Reasons being, I love the organization. I wish the organization would step up to the plate a little bit more. Now, I know Rashida, I guess that's how you say his name, has stepped up, you know, took over Jeff Gowen's position. I don't know what kind of changes are in the making, other than what has happened so far, you know, and got a new website. But look here, I've been flying for 10 years. And before, if you went to a fly-in, any fly-in that I attended, you had to have a rating. You know, you could not just be a beginner, self-taught person or whatever, show up to these fly-ins. I know some friends that did not have their ratings. That, I mean, these guys were good. They could do barrel rolls, they could do this and that and all that other, but because they did not have their ratings, like they're with Britton Shaw at Fort Smith, Arkansas, we had to have ratings to attend that. If you did not have your ratings, you was not invited, you know. Same thing with Beach Blast. You know, you had to have your ratings.
When you say ratings, are you talking about like at least a PPG 1 or a minimum PPG 2?
Yeah, 2 or
2
or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had to have some ratings. If you notice now, when you go to fly-ins, I don't know of any fly-in that promotes ratings. I don't know of any fly-ins that require that. And there's a lot of schools still offer, you know, these ratings, you know, and I think that's a good thing. Now, this is just me talking, so take it for what it's worth. But for a while, I could have cared less about these organizations. You know, to me, I thought it was just a money thing. You know, you pay your way in, get your little rating, you know, and do what you want, you know. But do I see a benefit in having these ratings? Absolutely. But I will say this here: of all the fly-ins I attended, I have never seen any organization. I don't care if it's USPPA or ASC. I never seen them have a tent set up. I never seen anybody out there promoting the organizations. You know, honestly, I wish that if we're going to push for these ratings and get people involved, you know, I think every fly-in there is, you know, that they ought to have a tent set up. They ought to be promoting, just like they got dealers and distributors, you know, you got different schools and stuff. They out there, you know, got their tents and set up, you know, promoting their school. This is just me, but I wish I would like to see USPPA get more involved.
That sounds really good. I wonder for the people in chat, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that all the fly-ins should require us to have at least a PPG 2? Or what do you guys think? Let me know in some comments. Thank you very much.
Now, we're going to make some people mad by saying that. Like
well,
I said, I got mixed emotions about this. Okay. I truly do. You know, I'm content with the way it is right now. But what I'm not content about is the organization, you know, putting more of an effort, you know, and showing up to these events, you know, and just letting their light shine, you know, to try to benefit the community, you know, try to help their organization grow. It'll grow, you know, if they are at the events and they are promoting their event. I mean, this event, you know, and I think it'll help the organization do a lot better for themselves. You know, that's just me talking right here. You know, I don't like rules. I don't like speed limit signs, you know, but so I got mixed emotions about it. But with me doing tandems and stuff, honestly, part of me care less about instructing, you know, having a school, because I'm a contractor, I work for myself. You know, do I have time to have a school? Probably not. I don't know if I want the headache with it, but I done everything I had to do just so I could have my ratings, you know, for doing tandems. That's the reason why I went through the organizations and got what I got, you know. So
we only had 2 people that said, or maybe 3 people that said anything in the chat. Said Hot Butted Production said me starting. It was my understanding I needed a PPG 2 or vouched by an instructor. And Bill H said most of the guys I fly with have a rating of PPG 2 documented. Para Ninja said I respect it, but I don't have any paperwork, so I probably wouldn't be able to go.
Yeah. It's a lot of people like that. It's a lot of people who got ratings. You know, I know a lot of schools that are giving the ratings out, but what are the ratings doing for them? What benefit do you have, you know, of having it? You know, it could go back to a contractor that does carpenter work. You know, you got your licensed contractor, you know, to the people that don't have it, but the ones that don't have it are just as good in some sense as the one. I mean, there's
But
pros and
no, I
cons.
mean, that one benefit though would be that, you know, to get the rating, you had to do certain steps. You had a syllabus to follow, and you know
Yeah.
that certain things were covered. And so
Yeah.
if nothing else, I mean, you pretty much know what you're getting as far as the training, you know, and that's a standard,
Yeah.
supposedly standard across the board there. But yeah, I kind of
But-
got mixed feelings about that too.
Well, I mean, and just like Shaun said too, you know, if we go to a fly-in, maybe they should have the USPPA out there, you know. So it's like you do want to go there, maybe they can help you get your rating there, you know, so you can fly, you know. I mean, having the USPPA over there or at the fly-ins does sound like a pretty good idea, just so we can, you know, say hi to them for one thing. And number two, it's like, you're right. What does the 1, 2, and 3 do for us unless you want to get your instructor in your tandem?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
I totally agree about the presence thing, the actual booth setup. So keep in mind, you got a lot of administrators for the USPPA, a lot of them. When we were at Bad Apples, there's probably 5 to 6 of them there. So by that, I mean, most of these guys are going to these fly-ins. It should be as an administrator, just throwing it out there that they, you know, it's like a charity almost, where they all, okay, 3 y'all are going to Bad Apples. Y'all set up a booth and, you know, have a PPA, answer any questions, you know, talk at the event, you know, make sure y'all talk at the event. You know how we had seminars at Bad Apples, let some of those instructors representing the USPPA speak or something like that. But yeah, I mean, as far as the ratings go and whatnot, I know there's a lot of pilots out there that don't even have ratings, and they're phenomenal pilots, phenomenal. You know, there's a lot in Georgia where I fly. A lot of these guys in Georgia don't have ratings. They could care less, because it's the way they look at it is, you know, what is it doing for me? But where it can help them is when they go overseas. Like, for example, I just did a PPG 1 and 2 for a buddy of mine, which is a veteran pilot. He's probably been flying paragliders for over 15 years or more. He's a free flight pilot before he's a paramotor pilot. But he was going back to where he's from in another continent, and that USPPA rating is validated over there. So he needed that to be able to fly over there. So, I mean, there is good things about it that, you know, can definitely help. But like, yeah, I totally agree with the whole presence thing. That's something that, you know, I think they should really work very hard to do it, be at every fly-in.
I like your idea. I mean, to become an administrator, you would, you know, the word administrator basically, it's like a representative, you know, or representing the USPPA. Make it like, okay, a requirement that you represent the USPPA at a fly-in at least once a year or whatever. You know? That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, we know a lot of them. I know between all of us, you may not know they're administrators, but I mean, they are. Like Mixer, Eric DeFore, Chad Bastian. I mean, Noah. I mean, Shaun, who's all? There are a couple guys out at Texas. Is what is it? Austin PPG that comes there? Is it Brian West?
yeah, I don't know who's administrators. I don't know.
There's some guy. No. What's his name? Fabrizio. Fabrizio's administrator, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many that we don't even, you know, you don't even realize that they're administrators, and they are. But yeah, I think that's something we should bring to their attention, that, you know, let's start having a presence, you know, and actually represent the organization. Because I know, like at Bad Apples, for example, there was a lot of brand new pilots there that did not fly, did not sign up, didn't put a wristband on because they were too scared to fly with all the people there, which I get it. But, you know, that's when, you know, they could have talked and, you know, went to, you know, spent some time with the USPPA and whatnot, and just learn something or something. Got anything. Sold PPG Bibles or something there. Talked about that. But yeah.
Yep. So we leaving in the morning. We'll be heading. We've been loading all day, heading over to Plain Crazy, and that's going to last till Sunday. And then from there, in a couple of weeks, Jerry, where we going in July?
Oh yeah, we're going to the beach for a week.
We got we rented a
July
condo on the
10th through the
beach.
17th.
Yeah.
Anybody's welcome to come. Y'all want to come down there and fly with us?
Say that one more time. Where and what time?
We're going to Pensacola, July 10th through the 17th. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
Look, we just got ran out of there and we ain't even made it there yet.
Yeah.
We got some crazy roommates.
It's gonna be a good time. There's some Florida guys that's coming from like I guess you could say Orlando, Tampa area. This meeting is there. There's a couple Georgia people coming and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if Shaun and Rachel's invited anybody from Louisiana, but yeah, Andrew Fuller might show up. He's talking about coming, taking a break from SIV to come fly with us that week. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Anybody's welcome to come. If you're gonna book a hotel or something, you better book now because it's booking and it's expensive. Ain't that right, Rachel?
Yeah, so we can't bring no crawfish because crawfish season is going to be out.
Yeah.
Actually, this weekend will probably be our last weekend of eating crawfish of this season.
Well, something that doesn't go out of season?
Huh?
Boudin.
That's right.
That's year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, somebody asked earlier about our recipe on crawfish.
Well, I guess you need to tell us since we're on the air now, right?
So first of all, let me ask you guys: have any of you that's on the panel ate crawfish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
He said no. Will said no. Jim, you
Yes.
ate it?
Yeah, definitely.
Have y'all bought it yourself, or y'all went to a Chinese restaurant and ate it?
Oh no, that's not even.
I lived
Who's
in
that?
Houston for a year, and oh man, we had a lot of it.
Yeah, we have family get-togethers and stuff. Matter of fact, we just had one this past weekend. Had a big crawfish boil. I think we had 7 sacks of crawfish we boiled. That's a lot of crawfish.
I've
But look at- we
never
put-
had crawfish. What
So
what does it taste like?
it's a mud. We call it our Louisiana mud bug because
I'm not.
they come out of the mud. They come out of the ground.
I don't think they have that in Michigan.
Huh?
Yeah, they do. They're Lagosinos.
So
That sounds
when you
good.
you don't have little dirt mounds when you go cut your grass.
All over the place. All over
Yeah.
the place. I'm going to teach my dog to dig them up.
Now, when we have crawfish boil, though, we put potatoes and onions and sausage. We put carrots, celery. It ain't just crawfish. Garlic, mushroom. And then you got the Louisiana crawfish seasoning. You got to dope it up with.
I'm
But
hungry.
Lemons, oranges.
yeah, we put oranges in it, lemons in it, just let it all soak up that seasoning. Crawfish, you get that water to a boil, and once you get it to a boil, you put the crawfish in there. You're gonna let it boil for about 6 or 7 minutes. And then you're gonna kill the fire, and then after that, you're gonna let it sit in that pot and just let it soak up all that seasoning for about 15-20 minutes. So all that sausage and mushrooms and stuff like that, it is soaking up all that seasoning. And the more seasoning you put in it, the spicier it gets. But you talking about good. Yeah. So
Good.
crawfish etouffee, all the crawfish that don't get eaten, we'd pull the tails off of it, and you can bag them, freeze them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so if you ever hear a crawfish etouffee, we use those tails right there to make a crawfish etouffee. So it's not going to waste.
Right.
That
You know?
sounds good. Will's gonna do a thumbnail. Let's all be
All right.
ready.
Y'all ready?
Grandpa, are you
Thumbnail
ready?
shot.
Okay.
No one's thinking.
Wow. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Will. You're the best.
Thank you,
got
sir.
it.
Appreciate it. Do you believe that we've been yapping for an hour and 45 minutes?
Do you love it or what?
And it's been
Believable.
quiet.
Great
What's
show.
that?
I said, and it's been quiet. It's like you're just listening to me jabber.
Oh, it's
Love it.
awesome. I mean, your stories are just so funny.
Yeah.
I had to put
At
my
my cost.
I had to put me on mute because I was laughing out loud. I was
know.
serious LOLing over here.
I loved it. I loved it.
And I even forgot to ask you, how long do we have you for? And here you are talking for almost 2 hours. I'm like, well, I guess we have you for at least 2 hours. But I know that you got to go to your fly-in tomorrow. So do you want to wrap everything up in the next 15 minutes or so, or do you want to just keep on talking for hours upon hours?
I don't care if somebody's got questions, they can ask. You know.
Shaun,
Somebody asked me. I've always enjoyed flying, so I'm in the process, and hopefully everything works out. And I ain't gonna count my chickens until they hatch, kind of thing, But I've been in the process of trying to buy me a Zenith. A Zenith 650 is an airplane 2-seater. So that's
What,
in the
is that an
making.
experimental?
Yep, it's experimental. So you heard of an RV, like an RV9, RV6?
Uh-huh.
They look very, very similar to one another.
well, it looks like the yellow plane that Matt Hodges had. Did you see the yellow plane
Yeah,
inside?
yeah.
That was an RV6.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm in the process of trying to buy one, but I tell you right now, going through this, it's not like buying a car.
Great.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I made some notes, and I think I've pretty much hit. Oh, I'll tell you one thing I hadn't hit on a little bit. We might end it right there. I don't know, but like I said, we're not going to say any names. But at these fly-ins, sometimes we all got rules and guidelines, and not everybody follows rules, and so we just came back from a fly-in, and there was some miscommunication going on. I had a little incident or whatever, and I'm just trying to think, because I'm on both sides of the fence here. They had somebody got ran out, and I wish we talked about this at Endless Foot Drag, because the same freaking person causes the same dang problem that Endless Foot Drag. And he might be watching me. He's a good friend of mine. He's hard-headed, ambitious, wide open. He's good. He's a really good pilot. Most of the time we don't do much flying midday. That's when everybody's out and about, shooting the breeze, just chatting, going out for dinner or whatever. Well, you got some pilots are good. They love flying midday. It don't bother them to fly midday. And some of these pilots are good. They have they're fun to watch, And sometimes these pilots like to show off their skills, especially when people start pulling out the phones and he sees that people are interacting, they're enjoying what they're seeing. So that promotes them to show off their skills a little more, I wish these events, instead of just drawing a line saying, don't fly over to LZ, don't foot drag this, don't do that. For these kind of guys, that has some talent, like I said, the Endless Foot Drag last year, we talked about this, giving them a time period, to where they could foot drag. Like last year, I want to say his name so freaking bad, but he was he was foot dragging, and that's what we do. We're in a foot drag. We foot drag, you know. But what we don't do is foot drag around the LZ because it could cause problems. People's launching, people's landing. Well, this individual, nobody else is flying, and he don't have a problem doing what he's doing because he's not hurting nobody because nobody else is flying. So he's breaking the rule by foot dragging the LZ or foot dragging places, and that's he just broke a rule, you know. And some people get bent out of shape over that, you know. I wish these events would open up a time period and allow somebody such as him, because he's doing figure eights, foot dragging, his feet never coming off the ground, and in the process of doing a figure eight, turn around and he'll do a wingtip drag. You know, I'm just crazy skills, you know, and he likes the attention, you know. Instead of getting mad and kicking these guys out, if we were to give them a window, you know, an opportunity, you know, when nobody else is flying, you know, let them let their light shine. Let's let them cut loose, you know, and do it in a safe environment. That way everybody's happy. You know, he's happy. He's getting to show it off. You know, everybody else is happy because they get to watch, you know, and it's not making anybody mad because he's breaking the rules, because we just broke the rules by, or should I say, we just added on to the rules by giving them a time period, you know. So does anybody follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think that's an amazing thing to do. I mean, me personally, I think that's great. You know, if it's midday, or, I mean, usually this person flies midday because really good skilled and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So if you are flying midday between 11 and 2 or whatever the time period is that nobody is flying, yeah, have fun. I think that'd be perfect. You know, that's when the more experienced pilots should go up anyways.
Yeah. I just hate it when I see somebody that has talent like that, you know, and then they railroad on. Look, I know this guy. Like I said, when he smiles, when you can be chewing him out and he'll sit there and just smile at you. And you're thinking the whole time that he's being sarcastic, you know, that, you know, he's just laughing you off. And if you know this person, it's funny to watch him because he really don't get mad. It's just a lot of people take him the wrong way. And it makes you that much more mad if you're chewing him out when he's sitting there just smiling at you.
I'll give a free shirt to anybody that can guess the pilot.
That's too easy, man.
So
I was there, so
we're excluded.
Jerry, if you want to do that and not say anything and just give away a free shirt, we can just use the chat. That way, everybody that listens to the audio doesn't know what's going on, and it's just private
that's fine.
Through the super chat if you want to.
This is the same person that I was invited to go to a beach to a fly-in, as a weekend fly-in, and when I got invited to go, this person was with me, and since I was asked to go, I asked them, "Do you mind if this person goes with me?" And he made a point to make sure to it that this person that comes with me does not get up and start doing barrel rolls at the beach and start showing off and doing sats, you know. And so we had a mutual agreement between the three of us that was not going to happen. And look, let me tell you something. As soon as we get to the beach and he unloads, he is cutting it loose. And this person that asked me, that asked this guy not to do this, he went straight up to him, just mad. And he told him, this is your warning. You do that one more time, I'm going to ask you to leave. It don't matter where this cat goes. He went to beach blast Whitman. You're not supposed to foot drag the LZ. And the mayor was out there and he foot dragged the LZ. And John Black, he's the one over beach blasting. Sure enough, he called this guy up. He kicked him out, you know, said he got to go. And so me and this guy, we went down the road to another LZ, you know, for about a day and a half. The wind started was trashy. The guy there that was doing the tandems was really backed up, couldn't do the tandems and stuff like that there at Beach Blast. They got in a bind and they needed somebody that was good at doing tandems. So this person just got kicked out. The next day got called back. And hey, you know, hey, you mind helping us out doing some tandems over here, you know? Look here. As soon as we got there and walked on the beach, I seen John Black walk right up to this individual and put his arms around him. I took a picture of that. I had to. I still got the picture. It don't matter where we go. This person will, he will break the rules. But so I just figured at these events, you know, if we can open up a window, because that's what they want to do. They want to show it off. They want, you know, let's let the cat out of the bag. You know, let's let them. So
You know, I would agree with that wholeheartedly, but until that point, I kind of feel that the rules apply to everyone, and then once they've changed, you know, then have at it. You know, so
but that's what I'm talking about. Well, let's make some modifications to the rules. The rules don't change. You know, let's not flow. But when we have a time period such as this right here, when nobody else is flying, because most of the time, the reason why we have these rules, especially around the LZ and stuff, because we got people trying to launch and land. You know, we got beginner pilots there. We don't. It's all about safety. You know, we don't want nobody out there getting hurt or feeling uncomfortable. You know, and they'll be put under pressure. So, but midday, well, these cats ain't flying anyway.
Mhm.
You know, so during this time when they're not flying, let's open up, let's bend the rules just for this time period. Let's say, let's give them a 1 hour window, you know, to go out there and cut loose, you know, because nobody else flying, they're not hurting anyone, you know, they're, I'm making a suggestion here. I'm on both sides of the fence here because I help out at Endless Foot Drag.
Let me ask you a question, Shaun. So if let's say they had that 1 hour window made available, would this person stay within that 1 hour window and not?
Well, if you have a good air boss, like we do at Endless Foot Drag, we got guys out there with vests, you know, and I'm telling you right now, anybody knows Martin Henderson, he does his job. He's a really cool cat, you know, he can get along with anybody. But if you break a rule, Martin's going to chase you down, you know. So when you got somebody like Martin involved, he takes his job being air boss very seriously, you know. When you Martin will conduct and make sure everything is to schedule. That's just the way he works. We got rules, let's not break them. But at the same time, let's give them an opportunity, you know, whatever that time period is, you know, to cut loose. You know, let's cut them some slack. It sort of sucks, I guess. Like for this guy, I know he asked for it. He went out there and done things he shouldn't have. But he just made a 600 and something mile trip, 12-hour drive, and then he wasn't even there just a couple of hours and got kicked out. You know, so I'm just saying I'm on both sides of the fence here because I do help run Endless Foot Drag, and I also are friends with people such as this guy right here that's hard-headed. You know, so if we can open up a window for them to do their thing, that way everybody's happy. Everybody's happy.
I think it's a great idea. And the reason being as well is because it shows the people who are going that it's only during a certain time. It is acceptable. You can do it during that time, but we don't want you to do it any other time. And it protects everybody else. I think it's a wonderful idea. And it reiterates that it's not appropriate at certain times.
That's right. That's right. And again, if you break the rules outside of that, when you give them a window, well, look here, if you break the rules, you know the consequences, you know? So abide by them. There's nothing wrong with having
My
rules.
only concern is that if the rules were changed and then they weren't followed, So, but I think it's a good idea, No one else-
Again, that's where you got to have some good air balls. You would have a certain time period, you get your gear together, and when I flag you and give you permission to go, you go,
And that's a really good idea too. And also too, you could actually have a sheet of paper with, the times of things that are going on, during that day, this period, this time. And if you want to foot drag, if you want to do acro, it's between this time and this time only. And you need a special wristband.
That's right.
Showing that you have the skills. Maybe that's when they say, hey, you need the ratings to be able to fly to do this particular thing.
Yeah, I know, like endless foot drag, we always have events at certain times and stuff like that. But this right here will be one of those events. And the only way that you're going to be able to participate in the event, is you need to let the air boss know. You need to. We're going to put you on schedule. We're going to put your name there. If your name is not logged in the book for the showing between 1 and 2 or whatever the time frame is, then you can't participate. We want to know who it is, and we want them to understand we got a certain time period. It might be between 1 and 2, but look here, we're going to give this person 15 minutes, and we're going to give this person 15 minutes, or whatever the rules might be. But again, set rules. Keep it safe.
You know what? Really, what you're talking about there, looking at it from a different angle, it's not so much something for the pilots, although they'll benefit. It could be like what you're saying, an event, a special event for everyone else. So everyone
watch and learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they did something along that lines at the last Palm Bay. I mean, it wasn't a set time, but they had a set LZ. And there was maybe 8 to 9 pilots over there, and it was DeFore, Matt Minyard, Andrew Fuller, Lauren Michaels. I mean, it was those guys. They had beach balls over there. They had a golf cart. I watched Andrew Fuller foot drag a moving golf cart with 1 foot riding all down the runway with it. It was awesome to see, but it was a set area that everybody knew not to fly over or fly near if they were up flying at that time. It's they had a little box that they were flying in and showing off in. But I totally agree with Shaun on that. We should definitely do something like that at a fly, and I'll definitely bring it up to the Bad Apple organization and do something like that. I don't know if they'll be inviting to it, but yeah, definitely try.
And if y'all want to end this on a good note, it might be a bad. Ford is the best truck out there.
Oh my goodness!
And Matt's the best computer.
Red Line is the best oil.
Red Armor.
Hey, Shaun, seriously, you've been flying all over the place, all over the states. You were saying earlier. Where is one of your most favorite places to fly, and what was your most epic flight?
Oh man, when we did a Para Carnival with Kyle O'Lee, that would always top. Not every flight that we had was the best flight. Moab, it was fun, but the time of year we went. We see all these pictures of people flying through the arch and stuff like that. Well, we didn't get that opportunity. Those rocks when we went was hot, and the thermals was making it a little trashy. At one time we was camping there in Moab in some tents and stuff along the river. And so we had 1,000-foot wall right there on the side of the river all the way to the top. So we're in the bottom, I'm looking up and I see Kyle O'Lee coming in to land. And I'm wondering why he's coming in to land. And I decided I want to take off, you know, and he's coming down and I'm going up. And once I got up, I realized why he was coming down. It was a storm coming our way. Yeah, it got ugly, and it got ugly quick. And I remember when I seen it and I decided to come down, that wind started picking up. And when you in between rocks down there by the cold water, that air got trashy, you know. So I would never forget Moab. But at that particular time we went, was it probably the best time, you know? We
What
flew
time of year
over.
did you go?
When was it? Whenever the eclipse took place. I don't remember what month that was. But it was during the time of the eclipse. Because we was actually in Casper, Wyoming when the eclipse took place. I don't know if that was a good time of year or not. Maybe it was just a bad day was there, a bad week was there. I don't know. But we was all over the place, you know. I remember Chris Montez, he hung out with us quite a bit, and we flew over the national park with the arches or whatever, and we failed to realize that you're supposed to maintain, I think, a 2,000 foot elevation over that national park. And me and Chris Montez, we're breaking all those rules. We was down in the park. And what was funny about it, I looked around, I'm like, where's Chris at? Because he was nowhere else to be found. That rascal landed, he ran out of gas. But just so happened he was high enough that he was able to glide off of the park, the national park, and go down to, there's a road down there, and he was able to glide off and land on the road, and somebody came and picked him up. He ran out of gas. But imagine what we could have got into if he ran out of gas and landed there at that national park. You know, that you're supposed to maintain 2,000 foot over, from my understanding. You know, so those are good memory flights. Where we fly at? We met Chris Santa Crochet. You know, we went to the south side there in Utah and did some free flying. You know, look, I'm not a paraglider. I'm not. I don't have a paraglider harness. I didn't ask Chris for one. So, you know, these little, you know, our little kiting harnesses.
Oh no, really?
This one's like on the mountain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue this story.
Yeah, so, Michael Holiday told me it was safe.
Wow.
Hey, the mad, you know, for Michael Holiday, for his memorial, for his service and for his funeral, you know, the family, because I was so close to him, they asked me to say some words, to talk a little bit about Mike, to share some memories and stuff like that. And I'm trying to think the maddest time that I ever got mad at Mike. You got to understand, Michael's a really good guy. Everybody loves Michael Holiday, you know, just an all around good guy. There was sides to him that might get on your nerves sometimes because he's so anal about some things, you know. But I was sitting there trying to think about the maddest I ever got at Michael. And so that day at on the south side, with free flying there with the kiting harness there in Utah, when you glide down to the bottom, there's two ways of getting up. And one of the two ways is if a friend is down there with a ride, you know, you can ride with your friend back up to the top, you know. The other option is if your friend is on top of the mountain and not picking you up and you got to climb the mountain, you know. And I remember Michael didn't pick me up. And from the ground looking up, I didn't think it looked so bad, but halfway up there, I was tired. I was burned out and I didn't know which way to go. I'm looking down and I'm seeing buddies picking up their buddies, you know, and they getting rides up to the top, you know, and they laughing, cutting up. And I'm sitting there trying to climb up to the top of that thing, and Michael's up there laughing at me. And I'm tired and I'm burned out, and I got frustrated. Really, I really did, and that's probably the maddest I ever got with at Michael. Some good times, you know. But so that was fun. Honestly, here at home, we have this crawfish ponds. We got rice fields. It's a lot of water over here, especially during this time of year. You know, so when you get up in the air, there's thousands and thousands of acres, you know, of water, crawfish ponds and rice fields, and they ain't but knee deep. You know, they're not deep at all. So if anybody wants to fly crawfish ponds, I got probably one of the best places to fly out of. You know, I love flying at home. I truly do. So that's that.
All right. Well, man, I've had an amazing time listening to your stories. I'm speechless on some of them. Not quite sure how to react on others, and opinionated on some, and thinking some things are a good idea and some things aren't a bad idea. So this has been really fun and very interesting. I really appreciate you, Shaun and Rachel, for joining us tonight. This has been really awesome. Any other anything else from the panel before we call this a night? Was there anything else that we missed in the chat?
There was a Ninja. He said that it's a thorny question, and it's about flying etiquette, and it's about starting the motor on the back or no ground start rules. I guess as far as fly-ins go, because it causes a lot of tension in our groups. So
look here, the whole 2 hours and 10 minutes we've been sitting right here. I didn't know that I could see the chats, and I was looking at the bottom of the screen right here, and I just seen a button right there. So I clicked on it, and then all of a sudden the little chats popped up, and so I just read it, and I'm sitting here thinking, I hope he don't ask me that.
Sorry, man.
Wow, just got you at that last moment, though.
You don't want me to answer that.
It's just opinions. I mean, you know, this show's opinions, and it's free speech opinions.
So, do I believe in that at fly-ins or in general that you should have the motor on your back? After seeing a lot of things that has happened to people, you know, I think that's one of the best advice it could be. You know, I know some people put a strap on their prop, you know, to keep it from spinning in case the throttle was stuck. You know, I know a lot of times we do get caught up in that moment to where my kids are bad about this. You know, well, that's them. It ain't never happened to me, you know, and they think they're bulletproof, you know. So every time it's for some people, it might not ever happen to. And for quite a few that it has happened to has had some very bad outcomes. You know, some of them is just a finger, and some of them it could be an arm, you know, or I've seen some where half their head look like they got scalped. You know, I would never recommend ground starting. Just don't come fly one. So I am very anal about checking my slack and my throttle. You could go through all the loops to make sure everything is perfect for when you crank it, you know. And I don't care how big a man you are, you know, and how well you got a hold of that thing. But if it ever did happen, the unknown might be a territory that you wish you never took part of, and you know, so sooner or later it could happen to any of us, you know.
You don't recommend it?
Oh, absolutely not. If you have that's a good thing. You know, I scuba dive, you know, and one thing about scuba diving, you should really honestly never do it alone. You should have a buddy, you know. And one thing good about having a buddy, you know, a lot of this is safety. You go scuba diving, you take courses, a lot of the courses, I was talking to Jerry about this the other day. A lot of the course is about safety. You know, having a buddy there helps out. Same thing with flying. If you got a buddy there, hey, you start me and I start you. You know, I mean, no, I don't recommend it absolutely at all. I really don't. Even though I have a tendency to do it myself, that's a gamble that I take. You know, I absolutely don't. And when it comes to fly-in, we got enough people there to help you start your motor. You know, because if you ground start it and the motor does go crazy on you, it's not just you. You know, you got other pilots around, you got bystanders, you got people watching. And a lot of times these people are not very far from you, you know. Honestly, at fly-ins, it should really be a rule.
I got a question for you with that in regard to that. You said because there's other people around, I start you, you start me. So, I mean, I went to a fly-in the other day and nobody even thought of assisting in starting. We all started it all on our backs and everything.
Mhm.
Or most of us did anyway. And we encouraged people with different techniques, but I thought that's a good point that we can have somebody help us start.
Well, a lot of times,
walk right in and then have somebody pull the cord.
so here's what happens. A lot of times with these motors, you got the motor on your back, you strapped in, and it's aggravating. You go to, even if you can reach back there and grab it and pull it yourself, and you pull, and it don't start. Well, now you got to you're going to have to set it down, start all back over, and prime it. You know, push the button, squeeze it. But if you got somebody there with you, you know, hey, give me a squirt. You know? I know.
Give me a squirt and pull my thing.
Yeah. We went from give me a squirt to you pull, I pull yours, you pull mine.
It must be getting late.
Where's Jerry at?
Oh my gosh.
Where's Steve Minty at? How you say his last name? Yeah.
Good show.
Yep. So, but honestly though, we should, you know, help one another out and make safety a bigger priority, you know, in these events. You know, it's all about safety, man, having a good time and being safe.
Yeah, man.
So are there any videos of people who start on their back and then the motor gets away on them?
I seen one that happened. It slammed him. You know, I mean, he survived it. He didn't get hurt, but I guess getting slammed and look like a fool is a better option than that thing going crazy on you and hurting you. But you know what? I really feel bad, even if it got away from you and you didn't get hurt and it hurt somebody else. You know,
I've met a couple like that. The guy got a new one, wasn't flying yet, but he wanted to started it up, went full throttle. He was fine, but it kicked over and hit his wife, and his wife got hurt. And I've met, unfortunately, a lot of people that have had stories and online too, where you can see somebody starting their motor up and getting chopped up, and pictures on Facebook and our paramotoring groups and stuff showing these things. And it's like, it's just not worth it. It's like the risk versus reward. You know, it's like, what's the reward of possibly hurting yourself or somebody else around you? It's just not worth it. You know, put on your back, you know, put on the rack. It's not that difficult to do.
I seen there's a lot of folks that has a rack like on the back of their car or on the back of their truck that they carry their paramotor on, you know, and the way they have them clamped down, You know, a lot of these guys started in the wreck because it's fastened down, you know, and after they fire it up, warm it up, then they put it on their back.
But I'm with you, Shaun. You know, when it comes to, you are out there by yourself at your LZ and you do whatever. That's like paramotoring, you know, under FR 103. We this is a single seat because nobody cares if you hurt yourself doing something that you're doing. So if you're out there at your own LZ and you want to ground start it yourself, hey, you know, that's you, that you're the pilot in command. But you got to think about the safety also too. You know, if you pull that thing and it spins up and it comes over and it, number one, hurts somebody else or tears up somebody else's wing, you know, now you're liable for that, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it doing around anyone else. That's my thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I built a platform which has worked really, really well for starting my paramotor. And I've used it for, well, 3/4 of a year until a couple of weeks back. I realized I wasn't getting quite the power I should be getting out of my paramotor, and it was starting to warm up here. So I thought I'd better tweak it and adjust the screw and tune it so it worked better. Well, I went to put full throttle. I'm standing on this board and the board starts sliding across the ground. I had never anticipated that. I was like, it scared the crap out of me. And so now I put it on my back. I sit on the ground and I start it, but at least that way it's on my back. I'm strapped. I'm not totally strapped into it, but I can get out of it too because I don't have all the stuff on. But at least it's not going anywhere into my hands or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of those boards. I went to a fly-in not too long ago, and I saw quite a few of those boards. And after that experience, I thought, I don't know how wise that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can continue on, you know, if y'all want to. Been almost 2.5 hours. There's some subjects we didn't get into that I had on note, you know.
I think we need to have you on again. I think we need to book you again and have a part 2 with you.
All right. Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
Linda, what do you think? Can
I
you book
think
them in?
so.
Because I know that we're booked until July something. So if you want to, maybe come back and do another. We can do another 2.5 hours in July and have a part 2, and maybe we can hear from Rachel.
Yeah, she's been a little quiet, hasn't she?
Yeah, I don't know why she's so quiet back there. I mean, you know, there's so much dead air. She could have jumped in anytime.
Yeah, after DFD, you can come give us a report.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That'll be here before you know it, you know. It actually starts on my birthday, September the 19th.
Happy
Well,
birthday.
happy early birthday.
So how old do I look? If y'all had to guess.
Oh,
I'd
gosh.
say, hold on a second. Let me put you on here as a spotlight while everyone is talking. We
Everyone
can
can guess.
we can look at you and still talk. So
42.
you
Hey, look here, before you guess, you got to
okay?
look at my wife. You got to take her age into consideration.
Oh, 16.
There we go.
So the wives are always 29 forever, and guys are usually fine being in their 50s. I know I'm almost 53, and you look like you're younger than me. That's my guess. You're younger than
You
me.
didn't guess.
You look younger than 53. Next, Jim, what do you think?
Oh, I've got no idea. I can never tell age.
All right, Will, what do you
So
think?
I was in church the other day. I don't know what brought this on, and they had 2 different guys. I guess they somehow always talk about age or something like that. When I told them my age, they did not believe me. and it made me feel good. So I'm just,
Well, it looks like they're we got the chat starting to say something. Bill H said you look 32. Aaron I thinks you look 48.
What?
Bill H Bill H is a good guy, ain't he?
So September, when the endless foot drag starts, I will be 45.
40 what?
45.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
I
say.
was close. I said 42.
Well, thank God. So thank God we didn't say 63 or something.
The guys at church the other day, they both thought I was in my 30s. You know.
Right on, man.
Bill thought you're 30 something. I knew that you're
Oh,
under.
My wife, can we talk about her age?
Sure.
No, we never discussed the women's
Let-
age.
Yeah,
Well, we
let's
can.
just-
I'm young. I am 9 years old.
She's a leap year baby, so do the math.
Oh, leap year, 9 years. Okay. Was it? Is it not? Would it be? So would it be 9 times 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I know what your age is.
But you'll be what, 38?
I'm 38. I'll be 39 in February.
Wow, you do not look 38.
No, I was still
Just saying.
thinking 29.
Uh-huh.
I wish.
She really don't look any different. I met her when she was 20, 21.
21.
21. She hadn't changed much.
I'm not saying nothing about my age because you're all just youngsters, okay? I'm just saying, y'all just youngsters. Okay. Because you're only as young as you feel. So I'm going to leave it at that.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm 103, but you
Oh,
know.
God.
Well, I had a few right on my neck.
How about the queen?
40.
Man, she's got to be like 203. She's like unbelievable that she's still around. The queen.
Oh, the one they had that, she's 96.
Is that all? I mean, she was old when I was a kid.
They just celebrated her reign of 70 years as queen. She became
Wow,
queen
that's
when she
right,
was
yeah.
26.
That's unreal.
Long
She's
live the
been a queen
queen.
for 70
Yeah, yeah. Long live the queen.
Long live the queen.
There you go. Oh, wait, they're talking about me. Oh, long live the queen. Yeah, that's
Long live the queen. This has been really
like
a
queen wave.
very.
Hey, John Wayne says everybody looks 12 to me.
John, you're not old.
John Wayne is 29 also. I think we're all 29. We'll just stop birthdays after 29.
There you go.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I cried when I turned 30.
She did.
I did.
Perry Ninja said, how about Tom Cruise just saw Top Gun 2.
That was a good movie.
It's awesome.
I haven't seen it yet. Is it something that I should see? Was it good? Was it worth it?
Yeah.
You want me to just
Go
spoil it?
see
You want me to
No,
just spoil it
don't
for you?
spoil it.
No.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't care, but everyone else, probably they would care. So let's not.
Well, he got killed at the end of the movie.
Shush.
What?
You just
I ain't
No.
getting this.
Yeah, that's
He's
something.
throwing you off, Shaun. Just go see it. It's awesome.
Nice. Yeah. So we was at a fly-in the day that the Top Gun opened up at the theater, and so midday we don't fly, right? So we went and several of us got together and went and watched it.
Wasn't it supposed to come out before the COVID thing hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was done like over 2 years ago.
I thought so because my friends and I were planning a trip to fly over to a place that had a big field right behind the movie theater, and we were going to go watch it, but then the COVID hit. So I thought that was the movie, but it's been so
Well,
long.
Yeah, but of all the movies that I've seen or them put out, for watching trailers and stuff like that, it's been a long time if I ever could say a movie gets the attention that this one has gotten. This one has got so much attention on Facebook or wherever. Everybody that I've seen that has watched it, I haven't heard any complaints. Just a lot of bragging about the movie, and they didn't take away anything from the original. They just added to it like 30 years later.
That's cool.
And then the technology, had just gotten better. at the filming, their skills, or the crew, the technology, So yeah, very good movie. I would watch it again. I would watch it again.
A must see for anyone.
Yep.
What'd she say?
A must see for anyone.
I will watch it.
You're gonna wait for it to come out on Netflix, huh?
When it comes out on Netflix.
Exactly.
I will watch it though. When it's a free download 10 years from now. No. No, that sounds like a good movie. I do want to watch it, yes. And I don't know, maybe I will go to the movie theater. I don't know.
Yeah. Typically when I go to the movies, I fall asleep.
Do you really?
I'm so active. I'm ADD, yeah. I'm a very busy
I
body.
can relate to that. I can relate.
I don't hardly ever sit down and watch TV. If I do, I push myself so much when I'm outside that if I do sit down, on a shutdown.
Right.
And maybe not for long. I might take a little 10-minute power nap. Then I'm wide open. But I wouldn't sleep if I didn't have to.
I know.
I don't like sleeping. It's a waste of time.
It is, isn't it?
Body needs
Darn sleep. What's that all about?
Well, we gotta have it.
Jets, I gotta get off here. I gotta get up, go to the gym in the morning.
Oh, there we go. Your wife will
Oh,
let you get off.
Lord.
My goodness.
Here we
Go
go.
to the gym. Yeah, I need to go to the gym tomorrow
Aye,
and get into the tanning bed.
We
There's
want
a massage
to
table there too at the
work.
gym, so I'll go to the gym, go to the massage bed, go to the tanning bed, and that's my day. Look at that. Yeah, look at that.
Snack bar.
They didn't read my comment. Good to see you too, bro. Was it Dave Ruff said something? Or,
what did Dave Ruff say?
uh,
I can't see.
I was-
I don't know.
My eyes are awful.
He said that you and Rachel are stand-up people.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
Appreciate it.
that's
Yep.
true.
Thank you so much for being on.
Well, I can
the
honestly
podcast.
say I don't
appreciate
think
that.
I don't think I have any enemies out there. I mean,
Dave
I mean,
Ruff is
here-
a cool cat too, so
Yeah, man.
yeah.
There you go.
Hey, it's really hard for me to see. I don't know what's going on with me. Before we go, Will Fly, can you see the chat okay? Can
Yeah.
you see the names? Can you just say hello to everybody in the chat for me? Because my eyes are so blurry today. I don't know why. What's going on? Can
I
you say
bored
hi?
you that bad?
Man, I tell you, this getting old grandpa crap is for the frickin' birds.
Oh, good
All
Lord.
right,
You are not
so
old.
we got Padre Brook PPG, Joshua Marsh Paramotor, James Jim Care PPG, Phil Huker. I think I said it right. Bill H, Kyle O'Glee, Tommy Sutherland, Travis DeFont, Hot Buttered Productions,
Nice.
Henry Gramillion. Let's see, and Andre Gramillion, and gosh, lots of people.
Good.
Cool.
I got him, William Garland, and John Wayne.
Cowboy.
Yeah, lots of people in the chat, lots of activity too. Walter Priori, what's up from
Lots of
Australia?
chicken.
Once again, I'm so happy when I see him in the chat because I know tomorrow is coming.
It's coming. Thomas Lynn Holland. Let's see. Hope I'm not missing anyone. Kelby Cox. What's up, Kelby?
Hey,
Kyle O was in there too earlier.
Kyle O'Glee. Yep, got him.
Hi, Kyle.
Let's see.
He's probably in bed now.
That's a hardworking man right there. I don't know
Yes,
how
he
does it.
is. I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
Just going down the list, Angela Preslick. What's up, Angela?
Hi, Angela. Love you.
And let's see, John Wayne, Bill H. Okay. I do believe that I got everybody. If I missed someone, I'm really
Cool.
sorry.
Awesome.
Oh, Aaron I.
Chatters.
Yeah.
Here and I, the PPG guy.
Yeah. Hi, Aaron. I.
Para Ninja, Clark's Video.
Oh,
And a couple more in here.
That's
Steve
good.
David
Clark's on
Ruff.
there?
What's up, David?
What's up, Steve?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad I kept going down the list because I'd have missed some people.
Uh-oh.
So exciting.
Really good.
Thanks for doing that, Will.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Shaun and Rachel, for hanging out with us for 2.5 hours. Wow.
So what's your longest podcast?
5
Huh?
5 hours.
No way.
Way.
Uh-huh.
So people fell asleep and you woke up and like, oh, it's still on.
I think so. They woke up, they went to bed, they came back. It's like, wow, good morning. They're still on. I think it was during the winter time, the COVID hit. So everybody was, listening, and we had the after show, people were jumping on, and we still, we probably could have gone on for more, but my wife, was like, went to bed and was going like, it's bedtime. Sorry, dogs. That was me. Sorry, that was me.
Now you
Oh
did
no! Now my wife is like, not only did you knock, now the dogs are. I better go, or else I'm going to be in trouble.
You're out of control now.
Whisper Jet America just got one. Sorry.
So had a really good time, and thank you so much, Shaun and Rachel. And my dogs are howling now.
Now you did it.
That was me. I'm sorry, dogs. Come back. Oh my gosh. My wife is ready to just beat me up now because we should be in bed. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. I really definitely appreciate it. We need to book you for next month. Talk with Linda and see when we have the next opening. I would love to chat with you.
Open.
Yeah, we
July's
definitely
open
need a
right
part
now,
two.
so.
We need a part two, definitely.
Yeah.
And let your wife talk this time. Oh my God, come on now.
I know.
And you guys got to go too, because you got to get some sleep. You got to fly into that. You got to drive to. So I totally understand. Or else we would go for 5 hours. Why not? Right?
Oh yeah. I already told you I don't like sleeping. So
Yeah.
So how about this? Next time we'll go ahead and say we'll shoot for a 6-hour podcast.
Oh
we got to
Lord.
beat the record.
Gonna call midnight at the Oasis here.
Yeah, we're gonna break the record. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Shaun and Rachel. We definitely appreciate you. You are absolutely
Thank you, Rachel.
wonderful people.
Yeah.
And
Nice talking with y'all.
Yep. Hopefully I didn't bore any of you guys. Thank you.
No.
Oh yeah,
no
it was
boring
just like
at all.
falling asleep and
We're awesome.
like yeah.
Thank y'all for the invite. We had a good time.
Absolutely.
This
Had
was
a
fun.
blast. So anyways, guys, thank you so much, everybody in the super chat, everyone that's listening to us. This is episode 124, season 3 on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. ClearPropTV.com. You can watch us live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you missed a show, don't worry. You can go over to your favorite podcasting app or run over to paratalk.org, and that's where you can see all of our uploads in the, the audio version of it. You can even go to Amazon and type in PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast and find us on Amazon and what was that, Prime Music, Amazon Music, and just the Audible. You can go to Audible and listen to our podcast. We are everywhere.
That's what I say. We are people say, where can I find you? And I said, everywhere.
Just search for Paramotor Podcast, and Anthony Velas would come up first because he coined that term, Paramotor Podcast. Anthony, you got it. You're awesome.
Yeah.
But we're second right underneath Anthony Vela. So anyways, y'all have a wonderful evening. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll say goodbye after we say goodbye on the air. And peace out, everybody. We love y'all, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys. Have an awesome one. And we are going to say goodbye to the audio. Good night. And stop our live stream. Y'all have a good one. And like I said, we'll see you next week.
Later, guys. Thank you.